Hare Krishna. Well, this alarm was to keep you all awake. The alarm knew that some people were falling asleep. Okay. So the question arises, why did the scriptures talk about associating with a Mahaseva? This point is very nicely explained in this verse. Shukadeva Goswami says, if you associate with an advanced devotee, you will learn how to dedicate your life to the lotus feet of Krishna. It's not that you associate with an advanced devotee for social purposes or cultural talk. The association is beneficial only when you learn how can I serve Krishna. If it's a mundane talk, then it's of no value. So if you associate with an advanced devotee, engage in the service of a bona fide devotee, you will learn how can we serve the lotus feet of the Lord. When we talk about the lotus feet of the Lord, what it really means is, how can we serve the Lord? That is the essence of devotional service. And if we engage in devotional service to the Lord, what happens? What happens? What does the verse say? It says, then you become completely purified. We have to recognize that we are impure at the moment. We need correction. We need purification. God is all pure and we are impure. And how do we become pure? By associating with a devotee who will guide us how we can engage in service to the Supreme Lord. And by engaging in service to the Supreme Lord, we'll get purified. Sometimes people say, oh, in ISKCON, there are so many rules and regulations. You can't do this, you can't do this, you can do that. I want this path where it's completely liberal. Why are there so many restrictions? Because this is the conclusion of the scriptures, and by following the rules and regulations, we can become pure. God is all pure, and to understand the Lord, we need to become pure. And how do you become pure? By engaging on this path of devotional service. But how do you engage on this path of devotional service? By associating with saintly people. Just like Srila Prabhupada. He came, traveled around the world, wrote books, gave his association, and as a result, he was able to inspire others to the path of devotional service also. So, the only reason why it's important to associate with an advanced devotee, because in that association, we will learn how to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, you read the story of Manugriva and Nalagovara. These two were the sons of Kuvera. Kuvera is the treasure of the demigods. And Kuvera is very rich. So these sons of Kuvera were intoxicated by their father's wealth. And you see that in society today. If one is very wealthy, he forgets the Lord easier. So these sons of Kuvera fell in bad association. And on one occasion, they were deeply intoxicated and they were associating with females. And now the Muni was passing by, and they didn't have the courtesy to cover their naked bodies in front of a great sage. Now the Muni thought, now let me give them special blessings. A sage, even when he chastises someone, it's for our benefit. So now the Muni said, these two sons of Kuhera are so intoxicated that they've lost all their etiquette. They're standing naked. Trees also stand naked. So they can become trees in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj. But along with that, he gave them a benediction. What was the benediction? They would see the Lord at the end of the 100 years, 100 celestial years. 6 months of our earthly planet is equal to 12 hours of the celestial planets. So they become trees in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj. The Lord never forgets the promises given by his devotee. Just like Hiranyakashipu obtained so many assurances from Lord Brahma that he was confident that nobody can kill him now. And when the Lord had to appear to protect his devotee Prahlad, the Lord appeared in a form in which he kept intact all the promises given by Brahma. And Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Los Angeles. And he jokingly said, after killing Hiranyakashipu, the Lord told Brahma, don't give such promises in future. You made my job very difficult. So the Lord remembers the promises given by his devotee. So Krishna was tied to the mortar, but he remembered the promise given by his devotee. So he pulled the 2 trees down. And when he pulled the 2 trees down, the 2 sons of Kuhera came out of the trees. When the trees fell down, they made such a heavy noise that Mother Yasoda was in the kitchen cooking. She came running because she was always in anxiety about her son's protection. So many demons had attempted to kill her son. So when she heard this heavy sound, she came running and she saw trees on the ground and her son hardly an inch away from the trees. So she said, thank God my son got saved. And she inquired, how did these trees fall? And the coward boy said, these trees were pulled down by your son. She said, impossible. How can my young son pull down the gigantic trees? Maybe a hurricane. She didn't believe it. So these 2 sons of Kuvera came out of the trees. They thanked Nada Muni, their guru, for giving them this privilege. And then they said, from now onwards, we will always use our mind and senses in serving the Lord, because of an association you obtained from Nada Muni. So when you have the opportunity to associate with an advanced devotee, you get purified. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you read the story of Mrigari the hunter. Mrigari was a very dangerous hunter, and he was so cruel He would half kill the animals, let them suffer, and when they would die, he would sell them for living. So Nanda Muni was there, passing by. He saw so many half-killed animals suffering, in agony, in pain. So he said, "Who is the cause of all this?" The hunter came out behind the bushes. He said, "I'm the cause." Nanda Muni explained, "Why don't you fully kill them? Why do you half kill them?" He said, "Oh, I love to see them suffering. And it's my family profession to sell them after killing." Then Nanda Muni explained the consequences. And he got so purified that he would not even place his feet on the ground till he saw that there was no entity below his feet. So there are many examples. So what is being emphasized here? Pure devotional service is a path through which we can get purified. And pure devotional service is a path through which we can please the Lord. And knowledge as to how to execute pure devotional service can be obtained by associating with an advanced devotee whose only meditation is how to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, whose only advice is how to engage on the path of pure devotional service. And in the purport, Prabhupada quotes that famous verse from the 9th chapter, which is what? Mahatmana se mam prasad. What's the definition of a Mahatma? Prabhupada always differed with calling Gandhi Mahatma. Prabhupada says that here, Mahatma is described in this verse of the Bhagavad Gita. The great souls, they are never deluded. That means they are never confused. They are never in duality. Should I serve or not serve? Should I chant or not chant? No. They are under protection of divine nature. And they are fully engaged in devotional service. Why? Because they know the Supreme Lord is unlimited and the object of service. So that is why one is advised to associate with advanced devotees. And an advanced devotee, his only meditation is how can we engage everyone in the lotus feet of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, he embarked on this trip because of his compassion towards the conditioned soul. He planted a seed that is continuing to grow, and by his preaching and the instructions he gave us, is attracting others to the path of devotional service also. So when the Prabhupada says in the purport, a Mahatma is one who engages 24 hours in the service of the Lord. Not part-time. I come for 2 hours in the morning, and then I go and fool around all that. The Mahatma's symptom is 24 hours a day is engaged in serving the Lord. And if you associate with such a person who is engaged 24 hours in the service of the Lord, then you will also get purified. Then you will also engage on the path of devotional service. So that is why it is emphasized that one should associate with a pure devotee. Now, this association can be realized in two ways. One is the devotee Bhagavat. and the other is the book Bhagavad. Like Prabhupada said, these books are not different from me. In a sense, the instructions are there. You have to follow those instructions. Vapu and Vani. The two ways how you can associate with the Mahatma. Vapu and Vani. Vapu refers to the personal association. Vani refers to the instructions of the perfect personality. Both are important. When Haridas Thakur passed away, Thakur Bhaktivinoda wrote a poem. He reasons there who says that Vaishnava dies when he is living still and sound. So the Vapu and Vani, both are important in terms of associating with Mahatma. Vyasadeva gave us all this knowledge. Now, physically he is not there, but we have his knowledge in the books. Prabhupada gave us all these instructions which are there in the books. So one associates with the Mahatma through two alternatives. What are they? Vapu and Vani. Now, Prabhupada, the verse says, one cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity. In other words, austerity is necessary, but austerity should be based on the instruction of the Mahatma. Then the austerity has value. Otherwise, we whimsically choose a path of austerity. That's not the answer. The austerity path should be given by the Mahatma. In the Bhagavatam, third canto, it says, Tapaseva param jyotir Bhagavatam adhokshajam. Krishna is adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means difficult to understand. But if we perform austerities guided by a Mahatma, then that austerity has scope to succeed. Then penance. Austerity and penance mean more or less the same thing. Our austerity and penance is what? We avoid what is detrimental, we accept what is favorable. So all these other methods of atonement have value when they are described by a pure devotee and when they are explained by a pure devotee. Then it has value. But if we just whimsically follow austerity and penance, then it's not of much value. Now, Prabhupada also quotes a famous verse from the Bhagavatam, 10th canto. That is, if a devotee has to undergo misery, what does he think? He thinks, it's the Lord's benediction upon me. Very often, when somebody is put in a difficulty, the devotee, and even a devotee, he says he's put in a difficulty, he says, sometimes he thinks, why does God do this to me? What wrong have I done? I'm chanting 16 rounds, etc. But we also have our own history of karma. And the devotee's understanding is, whatever the Lord does, He does for my benefit. There was once a Prime Minister who had great faith. Whatever the Lord does, He does for my benefit. So the king had an accident in which he lost 2 of his fingers. The king called the Prime Minister and said, why did the Lord make me lose my 2 fingers? What wrong have I done? And the Prime Minister said, whatever the Lord does, He does for our benefit. So there's no need to lament. The king wasn't pleased with the answer. He said, imprison the Prime Minister. So the king would regularly go on hunting. And usually he would take the Prime Minister with him. Now the Prime Minister was in jail. So the king went on hunting alone. And while he was hunting, he got caught by the dacoits. And the dacoits said, now we've caught a king. We're going to offer it to Durga. And then we'll get special benediction. There are some more for live human beings to Durga. In the Bhagavatam, you read the story of Jad Bharat, where he was kidnapped and they were being offered to the goddess Durga. So anyway, so the king got caught by the dacoits who were preparing to offer him to goddess Durga. But they were the demons, I would call them demons, they also have a certain standard. And they stand that some part of your body is missing, then they don't offer it to Durga. So they were getting ready to offer the king. Imagine offering the king as a sacrifice to Durga. It's a big fish. They were getting ready to offer the king to Durga. They saw the two of his fingers were missing. Stop! We can't go ahead with his offering. His two fingers are missing. So the king headed back to his palace. And so when he came back to his palace, he revealed the whole experience to his prime minister. And then he said, "You are such a good devotee of the Lord. Why did the Lord inspire me to put you in prison?" And the prime minister said, "If you would not have put me in prison, I would have gone with you hunting. And I would also have got caught like you. And since all my parts of my body are intact, I would have been sacrificed. So by being killed, by putting me in prison, I got saved." So, over here, in the 10th canto it said, a devotee, even if he is in a difficult position, he understands the Lord is minimizing my suffering. When you come to the devotional path, you don't at once nullify all your sinful reaction. It gets reduced, it doesn't become zero. Prabhupada said that many times. So we hear it said, the devotee, even if he is in difficulty, he considers this as a mercy of the Lord. And this is the secret of success. So the secret of success is, I don't blame the Lord for anything. And our goal is to engage in full service to the Lord. Now someone may question, in the present day environment, how do we engage fully in service to the Lord? Isn't it? Because this message of the Bhagavatam is eternally relevant. It's not that it was only relevant 5,000 years ago. So someone may want to question, how in the present day environment can we apply this principle? What is that principle? I have to engage fully in lotus feet of the Lord. I'm not going to resign from my job and so on. So Lord Chaitanya was touring southern India, and on the way he stayed at the house of a devotee called Kurma. He was a Brahmin. Kurma Brahmin was very happy that the Lord stayed in his house. He washed his lotus feet. And then Kurma said, I am tired of staying in the Grihastha ashram. I want to travel with you. Please take me with you. Kurma had a family, wife. So the Lord said, no need to travel with me. Stay where you are. Chant the holy name. And praise the glories of the holy name. Read the Bhagavatam and the Gita and spread the teachings of the Bhagavatam and Gita. And in this way, you will always be with me and I will always be with you. So, this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy, that he has simplified the process how one can engage 24 hours in service of the Lord. Chant your rounds, read the Bhagavatam and Gita, follow the principles. And that is complete surrender to the Lord. Complete surrender doesn't mean that you abandon your job, abandon your family, and just chant from morning to night. So Lord Chaitanya demonstrated that through this process, one can make spiritual advancement. There are many letters from Prabhupada where he says, if one sincerely follows the regulated principles and chants 16 rounds, he can go back to Godhead. So, Prabhupada, inheriting Lord Chaitanya's mood, has made the process very easy for us. So, to summarize, Lord Shukadeva Goswami is continuing to explain how the sinful tendency from the heart can be corrected. That is the real question. How to take away the sinful tendency. And the example that was cited earlier was the tree may get burned, but as long as the roots are there, it's going to grow again. So I may temporarily stop some sinful activity, but as long as the heart is not clean, I'll bounce back the moment I get the opportunity. So what needed is cleansing of the heart. And that is through the process of devotional service. So Srimad Bhagavatam is inspiring us to engage in the path of pure devotional service. And we can do that if we associate with whom? Mahatmas. And we have the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, these books are not different from me. Everything I need to tell you is there in these books. Prabhupada also said, Krishna was dictating to him to write these purports. So these purports are not mundane. They are the realization of a pure devotee. And if we follow this, then on this path we can make advancement. So the path of spiritual advancement has been made very easy. Yeah, how easy? Very easy. And if we can practice it, it will make a serious attempt. So this section of the Bhagavatam is very important, and in few verses further, Shukadeva Goswami is going to describe the story of, which story? Ajamir, in which we hear about the importance of the holy name. And the holy name is important. Why? The holy name has the capacity to cleanse the heart, to go deep inside and cleanse the dirt in 2 days. I think tomorrow is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's apparently. And day after is Gunicha Marjanam. Gunicha Marjanam refers to that past. Gunicha was the name of the wife of King Indradumna. And this Gunicha Marjanam is generally observed one day before Rath Yatra. Just like, you don't like sitting in a dirty place, do you? So the Lord doesn't like sitting in a dirty heart. So Lord Chaitanya, along with hundreds of his devotees, engaged in cleaning the temple, ceiling, wall, before the cleaning operation started, the Lord called for Kashi Mishra. Kashi Mishra was the superintendent of the Jagannath Puri temple, and the Jagannath Puri temple administration was under King Pratapudra. So King Pratapudra had told Kashi Mishra, whatever the Lord wants, please give him without any hesitation. So Lord Chaitanya came and called Kashi Mishra and his assistant and said, I want to clean this Gundicha temple. The Kashi Mishra said, my dear Lord, it is not befitting for a great sage like you to engage in this menial service. We'll do it without you. The Lord said, no, I want to do it. So if that is your Leela, please do it. So the Lord engaged with hundreds of devotees. They had 100 buckets in which they brought the water. And all the devotees were engaged in the cleaning operation. Some were scrubbing the ceiling, some were scrubbing the floor, some were scrubbing the walls. And Lord Chaitanya would personally go around and see how much dirt everybody was gathering. And it was seen that all the dirt collected by everyone together was a small fraction of the dirt collected by the Lord. And then the Lord would take those who were more successful in removing the dirt. You train up this person who is not gathering enough dirt. And Lord Chaitanya cleaned the Gundicha temple twice to make sure that no dirt was left behind. So Bhaktisiddhantaji and our acharyas have commented that this cleansing of the Gundicha temple is an exercise to show that we need to clean our heart if we want Krishna to come there. And how do you clean your heart? By chanting. When they were engaged in cleaning the Gundicha temple, not one word was spoken by anyone. They were all engaged in chanting. And they needed some more water, bucket, broom. They would just signal by hand. But they would engage in chanting non-stop. And so this, usually in most of our temples, we clean the Gundicha Marjanam. So we need to clean the heart. The cleansing of the heart takes place when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And so we should seriously endeavor. And the better the quality of chanting, the faster is the cleansing of the heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hard to sit here. Okay. Any questions? Should we take one? Yes.
Thank you for the nice class. One question can be like, Maharaj, you were giving this example of Nal Kuber and Money Green, and similarly you were giving example of Miltari. So they were not looking for the association of a pure advanced devotee. So how do you call that kind of association versus someone who is really trying to get the association?
With the Lord's mercy, He sent Narada Muni. He may not be looking. The Lord bestows His mercy by sending, just like the Lord sent Prabhupada to New York to plant the seed. He sent him to the Soviet Union to plant the seed. So the Lord sends His pure devotee. The Lord either descends Himself or sends His representative. The purpose is to purify the conditioned soul. Yes.
Gurumaji told that by association with advanced devotee, we can also get a pure devotional service. So how does it work? Is it a mystic process?
He does some black magic. Well, the process is, it tells you to chant Hare Krishna. It doesn't tell you to chant movie songs. It tells you don't waste time. Engage in service. It tells you directly. Like if you read Prabhupada's purpose, everything is pretty direct. Nothing is hidden. So the pure devotee, he repeats what is already coming from the Supreme Lord. Okay, more questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Like in the today's discussion and in the arts also, like lot of points are there that to pleasing the devotees and the spiritual master. So, Guru Maharaj, like how we can like please the advanced devotees and spiritual master.
Lord Chaitanya explained, to advance spiritually, A, take shelter of a bona fide Guru. 2, serve him. 3, ask him, what do I have to give up to make spiritual advancement? 4, if you have to give up something, give it up. But be determined to make spiritual advancement. That's like to catch a disease. Let's say you have diabetes, which is very common these days. So if you want to succeed in controlling that, you have to stop eating sweets. So when you come to spiritual life and take shelter, you also get told, Prabhu, this is not good for you. And Rupa Goswami says in Upadeshamrita, what is conducive, what is not conducive. So you benefit if you follow the instructions. Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, how can we remain enthusiastic and sincere and consistent in performing our devotional service on a daily basis as we ask?
Aren't we consistent in eating prasad every day? Are we or no? Or then some days you say, I don't want to eat prasad. When you fall sick, you may say that. But we are pretty consistent in our eating and sleeping habits. So similarly, if we chant regularly, follow the process regularly, then you'll also be enthusiastic. The Bhagavatam says, Nada Muni said, sometimes a patient is recovering from a disease and he thinks, I recovered now, I can stop to take the medicine. He gets a relapse. So the instruction that we've got, if we sincerely follow that, then you will always be enthusiastic. But if you take shortcuts, then there is danger. Yeah.
Guru Srila Prabhupada says that the Lord resides in our heart and is situated on a seat. What is that seat?
The Lord is in the heart. The heart is a seat. That's like sometimes people say, like they have this heart transparency. People, they have heart transplantation. So someone asked, so if the heart is being transplanted, it means the Lord is also moving. The Lord is on a seat, so he gets up when the heart is being transplanted. Yes.
So, Guru Maharaj, in the focus of serving our qualified spiritual master or our Siksha group, we tend to forget how to deal with our brothers and god sisters. So, what is the etiquette, how to get along and have a
Well, we should we should practice Vaishnava culture with everyone. We should be respectful to everyone. We should be friendly, and we should communicate. It's not that we only serve the Guru or somebody and ignore the others. Vaishnava culture means you're respectful to everyone. And sometimes there may be some issues, but the best is to discuss these issues openly. Communication. In the material world, they've discovered most problems are there because of lack of communication. So communication is a two-way street. So if you do more communication, then probably you can avoid misunderstanding. But there may be some specific cases which can be discussed individually. This answer is a generic answer. Yeah,
So,
a little louder.
yes, Maharaj. So you were saying about serving.
This seat is not so easy to sit on. Yeah, yeah.
You were saying that we were reading about serving the Lord. So sometimes it feels like there's two different planes. Like internally we know that we should serve the Lord and perform our sadhana, but our mind is pulling us to not do that. So how to handle that?
This point is nicely discussed in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna said, how is one compelled into sinful acts even unwillingly? That's your question. I know this is wrong, detrimental, but I still get pulled into it. And what did Krishna say? Kama esa krodha esa raja gunsamarva. It lasts only the all-devouring enemy of the living entity, which is burning like fire and is never satiated. Then Krishna says, where this enemy is located? Where? Mind, intelligence, and senses. But that's not the end of the story. Then Krishna says, how you can destroy this enemy? And what did he say? With the weapon of knowledge. So with knowledge you can destroy it. If something's not good for your health, the doctor says, don't do it, it's bad for your health. You get influenced by the doctor's advice. So the sages and the scriptures have told us what is favorable, what is unfavorable. Everything is spelled out. We just have to follow it. We don't need to do research in any area. Okay, any more questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your lecture. I have a question. How can we really practice being humble? How can one become really humble, not pretending humble, but really feel humble? And how one can absorb this idea of being like the very last? Everybody is above me. I'm the lowest.
Of course. We don't say become so humble that everyone tramples on you, walks on you. Humility means, some people think humility means pulling hands, offering obeisances, dandabats to everyone. So that's good. But humility means I'm ready to be corrected, ready to be directed, ready to be guided. Most of us think, I don't need any advice, I know what's best for me. This guy is just envious of me. So on the spiritual path, we should be ready to be guided. We should be ready to be corrected. And sometimes we get chastised. We should be regularly ready to be chastised. Then that is humility. Bhakti Siddhantaji used to say, if someone flatters you, he is your real enemy. People come and flatter you. Oh, you're such a nice devotee. And we feel encouraged. We should be happy when somebody chastises us. Okay. Yes, sir.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna. I heard a few definitions of sadhu in terms of sadhu sangha. One definition is sadhus are our great acharyas. And another definition is sadhus are advanced devotees and we should take association of these devotees. And one more association is that we small devotees, when we get together, is also sadhu sangha. So can you please elaborate on this? Like, are we sadhu to each other? Like, is Niranjandas sadhu for me? And am I a sadhu for Niranjandas? And all this, all this.
No, it's a very good question. In the Bhagavatam, Nada Muni says, you can have 3 levels of association. One is association with those who are more advanced, the Mahatma Sadhu, that we were discussing for the last 1 hour. The other is association with those who are equally advanced, like you and Indradumna. And the third is association with those who are less advanced. Now, how do you behave in these 3 circumstances? When you associate with somebody more advanced, you become joyful. And the example cited is that when a peacock sees clouds for the first time in the rainy season, it dances in ecstasy. When you meet somebody more advanced. Now, when you meet somebody equally advanced, like you and the Dumna and the devotee, then we should make friendship with each other. Friendship means we are going to work together to serve the mission of the Lord. I'm not going to brag and put it down, but we're going to work together. And when you associate with somebody less advanced, then we are compassionate. So, we agree with you that sometimes you may be associating with those who are almost equal status. So with them we make friendship. We don't avoid them, but we make friendship. Sit down and read together. Sit down and chant together. Sit down and make plans. How are you going to make people Krishna conscious? Is that okay?
Also, when we say we should see through Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, so those sadhus who are equal to us, will they help to develop the proper vision like Guru and Shastras? Are those equal sadhus are our authorities in
ISKCON.
Yeah.
If somebody is an authority, then that places more responsibility on his head to be exemplary in a position that he can inspire others. In other words, if I'm an authority, I have to be exemplary also. You follow? If I'm not exemplary, then I'm failing in my duty. Is that your question? I mean, if you become an authority, you carry a big, heavy burden on your shoulder to be exemplary. If you're not exemplary, Krishna is watching everything.
If we ask, if we say have an issue, a philosophical issue, and we discuss it between devotees. And we refer to Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, discussing this particular issue. So when we consider sadhus as authorities in terms of this particular, I don't mean position, I mean authority like knowledge and ability to clarify it. So should we consider equal people, us small people, as authority when we discuss Shastra?
If they are explaining to you exactly what Prabhupada explained, let's say you are with Niranjandas, and he is giving you the same advice that he heard from his Guru, who told the same thing that he heard from his Guru, then we should follow. But if he is giving something completely against what you've been hearing, then we can reject. And the beautiful thing for us is, everything is there in black and white in Prabhupada's book. Nothing is left to chance. You can virtually take any topic, go on the computer, you'll get so many of Prabhupada's quotes. Is that clear? Good question. Okay. Any more?
I have.
Yeah.
It is said that if a sinful person engages in the service of the bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate. So if one is sinful, then the modes are automatically going to drag him down, so he will never be able to serve the bona fide or have the...
No, our process is purifying the sinful people, just like Jagai Madai got purified. Jagai Madai was so... They got purified. Prabhupada purified all the Jagai Madais of Kali. So, even if you are sinful, you can get it. This movement is meant for Jagai Madai. Most of our devotees come from a very sinful background. Very few were born as Mahatmas. Frankly, Papa said that. Lord Chaitanya's movement is meant for the most fallen. Okay, any more? No? Thank you very much.